Everyone, welcome to another episode of Independent Artists Unite Song Series. Today, a special episode where I enlisted the help of a special dude, which is Bruce from the Stave Church. Thank you for being here today, Bruce. We're going to turn the tables today, and Bruce is going to ask me some things about my new song, which I'm very proud of, called Spirits. So I'm turning it over to Bruce. Who knows what he'll ask, or if he even likes the song. We don't know. We'll find out.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. And I do love the song. It's fantastic. Again, the vocals are just out of this world. I mean, they're so good. And I can't wait to talk about this track because I really do love it.
Thanks, man.
So this is fun because this is a turning of the tables. I like it. So what was the kind of idea around this track?
Well, it was really special, actually, because I came to the States in the summer, at the end of August, and I've got four older sisters, right, and then I'm the youngest, and two of my sisters I spent a week with at our family's summer house, that's been in our family for generations. Now is now owned by one of my sisters who bought it from my parents before they died. And so it's this camp on a lake, and I went there as a kid every summer. And it's, like I said, my people have been going to this lake for generations and generations in my family, right? I mean, they used to come in horse-drawn buggy, Grahams used to come to this lake. So it's really, you feel this history there, and the two sisters that I was with, it turned into this kind of trauma workshop, about our experiences growing up, with two parents that looked great from the outside, but had a lot of challenges, emotional challenges. And so there were a lot of unmet needs, growing up, and some things, some abuse, for sure, of different kinds. And so we were kind of sharing with each other how it's interesting, even if you have the same parents, you really don't have the same parents. Every child in a family kind of has different parents, based on what was going on at that time, and as the house gets more and more crowded, of course. And so we were talking a lot about that. We were talking a lot about relatives that have passed on, and and I learned something about my dad, that was not good. And it's a little bit of a theme that's gone through two songs, because the song Fate was a bit about this thing specifically. If my dad has this, a certain behavior that it turned out to be horrible, am I fated to do the same thing? Is there a genetic component? Is it nurture? Is it nature? All these things that are the big questions of life. And so I was really feeling, and that song was really all about like breaking the cycle, breaking the chain, and this decision that I'm my own person and don't have to follow in his footsteps in this in this way that was a real character defect of his. Um, and and I always felt really strongly about that with my parents, like, I'm not going to do this with my kids. What, I got 3 kids of my own now. And I think I've been pretty successful with that. But I've always felt, being in this house, and this is getting in specifically to this song, that there's these objects that have been there. Oh, that's Uncle whomever from 2 generations ago. That was his painting, and it's still on the wall. So there are these objects that are kind of like almost haunted, because they carry with them the story of these people, and so I was thinking a lot about that. But then I also was thinking about, there's really the woods around the cabin that are just like pitch black at night. And I was walking through this path through the trees, and I could just like feel all these spirits, of generations in the woods there. And I think, like, when I was a kid, I would go tearing through those woods, sure that there was some evil spirit, following me. And now, like, I've really kind of changed my mind about the nature, I think, of life and death. And I feel like, like, once we die, we carry on in a kind of like an idealized version of ourselves, some energetic being that is forgiving and loving and doesn't is not beset with human foibles. And so it was the kind of this turnaround of, like, of the idea of when I was a kid and tearing through this forest, to now just like slowing down and feeling the energy and just being like, hey, be with me, like, walk with me now. I want to do a better job on this plane, and can you all help me? You've gone through this. You're on the other side. Can you help me? Can you guide me? Walk with me through life now. Help me, not kind of help me not make the same mistakes, including my dad's spirit. So that's where it came from. And
Yeah, that is incredibly beautiful story, but yet, sad also. But
yeah.
um, and I love hearing about um, what songs are about. And I love hearing about this. It's so much better, or so much more interesting than, I broke up with my girlfriend and I'm,
Well, yeah.
so and that, I mean, to me, that's like true uh songwriting. And it's a beautiful song.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know, I would like, if you wouldn't mind, if you read the lyrics, if you're up for it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So it goes like this. The secrets thicken trees. The secret sickens dreams. The secrets creeping out. The secret's silent shout. I know you're watching me. I know you're watching me. I am calm within. Now I can begin. The love is in the trees, transformed there in my dreams. Where fear is finally faced, inspire me when I wake. I know you're watching me. I know you're watching me. I am calm within. Now I can begin. Spirits walk with me.
Wow, that's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful.
Thanks.
Man, wow.
A funny little tidbit about this song is I originally had the idea of Lynette from Bestial Mouths, singing on this song as well. and we were talking about maybe doing a collab. And as I started working this up with James, it just came to me that this was way too personal. You know what I mean? It just
Right.
wasn't. It wasn't the kind. Although I could totally hear her doing some, huge like, banshee yell over the top of it. It's still. So hopefully we'll do something in the future. But this one ended up being, I think, just so personal that
Right.
it
Right.
was we kind of focused in on that. And
Yeah. Oh, it's an absolutely beautiful track. Let's talk about the music.
yeah.
Did you collab with anybody on the music side, or is this 100% Scott?
Well, it's not an official collaboration with James K. Ultra of Pain in the Axe, but he mixed it and he is playing keyboards on there, and he's playing. Oh, and he did drum programming. So he did programming and played the keyboard parts on there, and did like the string arrangement when the string
Okay.
when there's the breakdown.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, and it was like, it was like you said, like we were going for this cinematic feel, because I had this thing where I wanted to start with this, like
yeah.
I
Yeah.
almost wanted it to be like a whole orchestra, but it turned
Right.
out to be this ARP thing, and then that little guitar part, um, that is just something, yeah, kind of sad and haunting about that, and then that kind of sets the stage.
Right. Right. Yeah. A couple of things. I love the drum pattern.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, that's
It's
all James. He did, so it was so beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, it's refreshing to hear, and I need, and this is an eye opener for me to not just do, you know, kick on 1 and 3,
Mm,
snare and 2 and 4, like mix it up, do some tom work or whatever.
mm,
So that stuck out for me. I love the guitar. I really thought that just added so much. I mean, it was
mm,
just it's it's perfect. It's not um, it's just the perfect amount, I think, for that track. I mean, it's just a beautiful track. I mean, it just really is.
thank
I
you. Yeah, I mean, I think that guitar part was a bit influenced by these kind of simple guitar parts that Bernard Sumner does, from Joy Division and the New Order. Because I'm always like, I hear his parts and I'm looking and I'm like, can that motherfucker really play the guitar? Or is he just fucking around? But there's something about that, you know what I mean? There's just a simple part, and maybe it's not perfectly plucked, just perfect. So I sat there trying to make it sound kind of fucked up,
yeah,
and I just kind of
yeah,
stumbled upon it. But I wanted to kind of have that feel, because I've always loved that, how these tasty guitar parts, come into both Joy Division and New Order, and it's so simple, but it's just the right notes.
yeah. Oh,
The,
it's
the,
great.
the
I mean,
melancholy is in there.
yeah, right, right, right. Wow. No, it's just, I mean, everything's perfect about it. I just, I really love this track a lot. Um, so what are you thinking next? What's your next? Do you already have something in the works,
Oh
or?
yeah, yeah, James and we already have a next song, because I was this is a weird thing that's happening between me and him, because I'm writing a song, and I'm demoing it. I sent it to him. He said, "I love it, I love it." Da, da, da. We start talking already, so we had another song planned, and we were getting all excited about it, because we really decided to go for this like vocoder chorus. We're just
Oh,
gonna
nice.
go like over the top, like something totally
Yeah,
different, and
yeah.
so we were both getting excited about that. And then one morning, I think it was, it may have only been last weekend, actually, Saturday morning. I just, you know, sometimes I'm just feeling, I don't know why, I'm just like, have a lot of feelings, and that's when I just like sit down and say, let me just see what comes out. And
Yeah.
and this song popped out of me. It was again, one of these things that just took like an hour tops. And I sent it to James. And
Wow.
I said, hold the presses, because he started working on the other one already. I'm like, hold the presses. I think this is this is a good one. I don't know. And he listened to it and he was just like, holy shit, dude.
Wow, man,
So
I
we
can't wait
we
to hear
we
it.
completely shifted gears. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So true love awaits. It's called the next one. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. I love when that happens. Something is just it's just I think it's I think it's kind of happened to me like once. I'm like, yeah. And um but it doesn't happen to me very often.
Yeah, well, me neither. And that happened with Alien too, actually.
Wow.
That James and I did together. That was also, I spoke to him on the phone one night. This was after he did the remix of Young Lovers, and I said, oh, can you talk on the phone? Yeah. I said, dude, yeah, I want you to mix everything, until the day I die. That's where I'm at. So I don't know where you're.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he said, fuck yeah, let's go. And I said, awesome. And I got off the phone and I was so filled with excitement that I sat there and wrote Alien and sent it to him. And the next day we started working on it. And in 2 days it was completely done. We were both so excited,
Yeah. It's
to,
just
to,
so
to, to
cool.
kind of go off on this venture. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's he just always gets me. I mean, I was saying, actually, was having this talk with my, I mean, to talk about ex-girlfriends. I'm having this talk with my ex-wife, who became my new fiance. Now I don't know if she's even my new fiance anymore. I don't know if we're going to get married again. But we were talking today about how we just get each other. When you
Yeah.
have that, that's like something, that's worth, going through the tough times and going through really whatever, when you really find someone that gets you. And I really had that with James. I mean, he gets what I was going for in a song idea, and then he knows how to expand it to the next level, and just make it nice.
Right.
And so it was really like that, with Spirits. It was, this, um the kind of grandiosity of it, or like, this like, kind of orchestral or cinematic, feel to it, that he really took it to that level. And um and um and I think too, like, actually, I've never said this to him too, but it's like, I don't know what you think about this, but I always feel like a song, like a good song, is like comprised of like certain tasty morsels throughout the song, right? So it's like with this one, I felt like, all right, you have this, and then the lonely guitar thing, and that's like one thing that sets the stage. And then there's this, you know, where the verse in like the pre-chorus is kind of playful, and then it's quite serious, and with this big, got a baritone voice in the chorus. And then it was when to introduce that falsetto vocal of, Spirits Walk with Me, that comes in the breakdown. We were kind of back and forth. When do we bring that in? Because on my demo, I brought it in on the first chorus. I'm always guilty of that, of like showing my whole hand early in the song, And he's like, well, maybe we'll tease it out a little bit. So I wanted to tease it out a bit. And and then one day, and then actually he was done mixing the song, and all of a sudden I was listening to it, and I was commuting actually, and I thought, oh, I hear this breakdown, where it's just strings, or the synth type strings, and that part comes in, kind of washy in the background, and then the chorus outro comes in, and it's the two combined for the first time there, the lower chorus and the falsetto thing, and he's like, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. I'm on it. And so it was like he did it so fast. I couldn't believe it. He sent me another file like within a half an hour, and it was the whole thing was there, and I was just like, that's it. So it's so gratifying, I think, and it's why I want to kind of do a show about this song, because it's I think it's so special to me, because it is a way. I think it's a kind of a way of turning this like fear, this generational fear of like how crazy these people are in my family, and enlisting their help to not be so crazy myself, and I that's like a very healing idea for me, and I think James just added, this cinematic element to make it so cool, but yeah, and it was the same thing with this new song with you know True Love Awaits, um where it was just it's like a slower song actually, yeah, but I was having some problems with my partner, and I thought, we're kind of at this stage where the way we have been with each other has to kind of die, and we have to move on to something else, and I think it's happening, so I had this idea of true love awaits beyond these graveyard gates, and James was like, I can't believe no one's ever said that line before. And so that was the whole thing, and so we're really excited about that one too. Yeah,
Just
I
like just hearing about this, I got to hear it.
I'll send you. Well, he's doing. It's almost done. He's doing, I think, what will be the final mix, like right now, probably as we speak, or the next couple of days. So I'll send you a copy of that. Yeah.
Oh, that would.
But
Um,
yeah, man. I mean, thank you so much for doing this. I was. It's like I thought, I can't do this every time. It's like, okay, now let me talk about one of my songs, because I'm like putting one out every month, trying to build up this repertoire. But with James, but
so,
yeah, I thought this one was special, and I thought you were a great person to talk about it with, because you've been so supportive of me, which I
oh
totally
man,
appreciate, man.
I appreciate you letting me do this. I do have a question on your like release schedule.
Oh
Are
yeah.
you
Mhm.
kind of thinking, kind of doing singles,
Yeah,
or you
yeah.
thought
I
about
mean, this is
collecting
so.
it?
Yeah, well, both. Yeah, I mean, this is a method that I learned from James, about doing a single every 4 to 6 weeks, and
Mhm.
follow, because the whole release radar, kind of curve of listens that you get, it seems to be on this 4 week kind of um schedule, where you like put out a release, and like now I think I'm reaching to people on Instagram and stuff like that, but then release radar kicks in like after 2 weeks, and seems to go on for a week or two. I'm not sure, but and that's when I'm getting the bulk of my streams these days. And then it really dies down at 4 weeks, and so then I'm coming in with another single, and and then I'm doing this waterfall technique, is called, where I put out this single, and the second song is the previous single. So I put The Visitor on with this one, because I like the way they went together. And then next month I'll make Spirits the second song, and have True Love Awaits be the first one. So I'm gonna do that until I have enough songs like that, till I have like 9 singles, I think. And then the next month I'll put out an album, and the 10th single will be the one single I push off the album. So that, and then I'll start over again. That's the idea.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot. I think
Yeah.
that's very, very smart. Yeah, because if you spend a year working on an album,
Mm.
people, you're forgotten, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, it can be like that too, but you can only also, for every release, you can only submit one song to Release Radar. So if you got these albums of 12 songs that you really love, you can only choose one to really get that hit from the algorithm with Release Radar. Um,
Right.
and that's been like, thousands of streams for me. So it's an effective way to do it. I mean, I went from this, like last year when I was putting out a whole album, um, I think I would get like, I mean, sometimes I would get like 50 streams for the whole album, you know? I was like really frustrated, and I didn't know anything about Spotify and submitting it ahead of time and for radar release and this kind of thing, and how many plays that means. But it means it's been like, a big difference, in
Yeah.
how many
I,
streams you get, because I just want to reach people.
right. I need to learn more about that because I just, you know, um, I wouldn't say lazy, but I'm just need to put more effort into it, let's say.
Yeah, I think I know it's a method. I was actually just reading that, oh, now I forget their name. Is it the cigarette smokers or something, or what's their name? The Is it the cigarette smokers?
I'm not,
You know that band?
uh, cigarettes after sex? No.
No, I think it's the cigarette smokers, but I don't know. And anyway, heard it was them that popularized this idea of doing a single every 4 to 6 weeks and
Oh,
collecting it for an album. That idea.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's worth doing things that way, because you end up with like, thousands and thousands and thousands of plays uh, once that album for that album. Um, and whereas you would only have that for one of the songs on there, and then people finding other songs would just be like a matter of luck.
Right. Right. Where would you say you get most of your plays from? Spotify or you
Spotify, yeah, from Release Radar, yeah, from that playlist.
yeah, gotcha. Huh.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
You can see it very clearly in the breakdown, like in Spotify for artists. Yeah.
right.
I mean, I get a fair amount of streams, I have to say, on SoundCloud. I'm getting like about 450, 500 streams per single on SoundCloud. So that's also really good. I think it's better than it used to be.
Right. Yeah.
But
I guess
that's also because of releasing them as a single, I think. That it seems to take off much better than putting an album on there. And people are just like, oh, I don't know where to start.
right. Huh, that's interesting.
You know, I'm not really a big Bandcamp person yet, so I'm still trying to build. I don't really quite understand how to build a following there, but I like the idea. I love it. And when people like you actually buy a song, I'm like, holy shit, someone bought my music. Which, thank you. You're one of the few that come through and like actually buy music, which is fabulous.
I mean, you like uh, I just feel that you have to because you want this artist to continue doing,
Yeah.
more stuff. And so another interesting thing about well, Bandcamp, of
Mm.
course, the best out of all the services.
Yeah.
But have you thought about doing, like a little merch, like t-shirts or something, or
I thought a little bit about that, and I think it's this kind of thing where I decided to go with my, full name, Scott Baker Graham. And it's like it doesn't make the best T-shirt. So I was thinking some kind of logo with SBG, or actually, what I was thinking is I was actually thinking for the album, when this collection of singles come, and maybe there's one or two new songs, when I put out the album, that I'll try to make the album cover a good shirt logo as well, and try to make it with SBG or something, and then do a shirt of that and see if that might be cool.
right? Yeah. Speaking of Ruin the Mind, he's done Ryan's done several of covers for me, and
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
it's like great stuff. You
Yeah.
can tell which ones I did early on.
Well,
And
yeah. I mean, and two, the pieces parts. I mean, the creative design, art direction of that whole, you know, thing was so beautiful.
yeah, he did the
Yeah,
cover
yeah,
for that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Really cool. Yeah. But it's funny. More shout out to Ruin the Mind. I was like, doing the Christmas shopping thing in the mall, and I'm listening to Independent Artists Unite playlist. Go follow it, everybody. Um, and Down in It came on, and I thought, let me A/B it with Nine Inch Nails, because I think it takes such balls to cover a Nine Inch Nails song. And when you think of Nine Inch Nails, even if it was Pretty Hate Machine, I think of it sounding so modern and so kind of, because when it came out, I remember it was mind blowing. You're like at that time it came out, you're like, whoa, this guy is like, at the front line of all technology. It seemed like such a new, like, space age thing. And I was listening to it, and I actually couldn't believe how tinty and small some of the sounds and this and that. I mean, the Ruin the Mind version really sounds much bigger than the Nine Inch Nails version. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It really does. I was like, wow, he really like sonically blew the old one out of the water, which is like pretty awesome when it comes to Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That whole thing came out great. I
Yeah.
mean, it just um
What about
uh
you? What's your next thing? I'm taking control. I'm interjecting.
um I'm kind of working on a couple of things, a couple of collaborations. And I'm actually working on a kind of a EDM track with my daughter.
Oh, cool.
She's totally into EDM, and
Yeah.
so she's like, "Hey, can you do something like that?" And I'm like, "I don't know." So kind of working on that, and
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm trying to get some vocals out of her. Um, but so that's a fun thing to do, with
Yeah,
her.
yeah, yeah,
So hopefully that'll hopefully we'll, you know, actually finish it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because that happens too. You can start something and never finish it, and that's kind of it's it's a little depressing. It's like finish it. But yeah, and so I
And
was thinking,
what about Stave Church? When did you just kind of wait until something's bubbling up and you're like, I need to put out a Stave Church?
yeah,
You know,
it's
so-
I don't know if you call it like a slump, um, but um, I don't know. Nothing's really like popping out at me.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Besides these two kind of collaborations I'm working on, and but yeah, I need to. Need to figure that out. Like, what the heck's going on here?
Yeah. Well, those are good times too, though, you know. And
Yeah,
you're gonna when it does come, it'll come hard. I have a feeling.
I hope so. Yeah. Um, yeah, I'm ready to kind of get back into it, but we'll see. Um,
Well,
well,
I think I'm gonna cut us off because we've been going for a while. But
yeah.
thank you so much for doing this, Bruce.
Hey, thank you.
You know,
Seriously.
it's weird to feature yourself on your own show, and so I need to have the right person to do it. You know, Jimmy from Tokyo Teens has done it before, and I thought you're a great candidate to do it because I feel really appreciated by you, like I said, and I really appreciate you. So I think it was really great to do this.
Well, thanks. I just want to tell you just congratulations on this track. I think it's just absolutely beautiful. It's great.
Thank you, man. Thank you, and have a great holiday season, man.
Yeah, you too. You
And
too.
I'm
Thank
looking forward to the EDM track with your daughter. I think that's totally cool. So I want to send me a roughish demo of it when you got it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I'll send you True Love Awaits this week.
Thank
Sneak
And I can't.
sneak copy.
Yeah. Well, you can trust me with that
Yeah,
with secrecy.
yeah. The sought after new single. Love you, man.
Hey, love you too, buddy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Talk